Hello, everyone, and welcome to Video Games and Coffee. I'm your host, Daniel, and today I would like to present part 2 of my collaboration episode with Claire Weaver from the Days Gone podcast and Rob and Kelvin from Project Tech Gaming. You can find them both on Instagram, Project Tech Gaming, and at Days Gone Pod. You can also find them on the major podcast platforms as well as YouTube. So here is part 2, and we hope you enjoy it. For anybody that wants to do a podcast, me specifically, my goal was to keep it as cheap as possible. I didn't want to spend a lot of money for something that might not make it. So I have a mic I bought for $65 on eBay. I use Audacity, which is a free audio recording program. And I pay monthly for my web page, my website, and for the podcast hosting, which is Buzzsprout. And each of those is under $20. Mm-hmm. So for that, and as long as you have a computer, that's it. Start it.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. It's not hard, I swear.
I mean, we started with, as far as our videos go, we started with just like a Logitech. I started with a Logitech webcam, and I had a Yeti microphone, and we just said, let's go, let's do it. We didn't use Audacity at the time either. We just kind of like posted it there. We didn't have a thumbnail. I think we didn't even have a thumbnail, right?
We didn't have anything. We just kind of like put our faces and made it work. And then slowly you start building out more stuff, right? You start getting a nicer mic and all this stuff, but cameras. Again, we were diving into the YouTube part. So then at one point we started purchasing a better quality camera. But yeah, and I think that's hard too, is the entry point is like, where do you start and how much money do I spend? Because you see on social media, these people using these Shure, mics and the $400 mics, and you're just like, do I need that?
No, you don't.
Good? Because you really don't.
Absolutely
need that.
not. No.
Yeah.
No, I have. Yeah, you guys started with the Blue Yeti. That's what I use.
And this is my upgraded mic. You're like, we upgraded from the Blue Yeti. I'm like, damn, I just upgraded to the Blue Yeti.
Yeah, so I know the Blue Yeti gets a lot of beef from people out there, but hey, if you like the way Claire and I sound, this is on a Blue Yeti.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Now, is a Blue Yeti a USB mic?
Yes.
Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah. So our list of questions here, we kind of, let's see. So
I have a question actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to ask Claire. All right, and this is actually for you, Daniel, too.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh shit.
Why Days Gone?
Oh.
Okay. Why are you so?
Now I know where this 3-hour episode is going to come from.
Yes,
this is it.
I had to ask
right here
because I played the game. I played the game. I tried it because of you guys. So there you go.
How far into it did you get?
I got up to the part where Boozer. Yeah. He got his arm burned by the freakers, or not the freakers,
the rippers.
The rippers. And then I went down. I went to go find my bike, but my bike was taken from somebody. They like parted it out.
Copeland. Yep,
Copeland. And then I have the cheapo bike, right? Like the bear bike, and I have to find something. What do I have to find? I have to find something.
You have to bandages for Boozer, maybe?
I think that's what it is. I think it's bandages for Boozer.
Okay.
And that's kind of where I left off.
All right. So let me just tell you, this game is like a 100-hour game. You've probably played for about 3.
Claire's disappointed, man. I think she just took you off of her Instagram. As you were saying that, I think I saw her kind of do that.
This fucking
we have one less
I got the notification right now. Yep, there it is.
No. I'm kidding. So I started this game seriously expecting it to be trashy, just like really cliched and fun. Very fun, but like I had very low expectations. The cover art for the game really does not do it justice. It looks just super cheesy. And the main character is like, you know, this sort of biker dude who's in a zombie apocalypse. His name's Deacon St. John, and it's just so fucking cheesy. And I'm there for it. Like, it sounds my kind of game, but I was expecting it to be kind of 10 hours of zombie killing fun. And, you know, I'd play it, you know, half a dozen times and kill some zombies, ride around a bike, boom, the end. There's not going to be a lot of story. There's not going to be much replay value. I was so wrong. And the part of the game that you're at, like, it does have a slow start. It does do it. There's a heavy tutorial kind of ongoing thing where it's teaching you how to do all this stuff. And it's kind of it's not a complicated game, but there's a lot of elements to it. You have to learn how
to... a lot of things to do.
Yeah, you have to learn how to track, you have to learn how to shoot, you have to learn how to ride the bike, you have to learn blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of stuff. For me, I'm like an average gamer. You know, I'm not like a super gamer. I play very few kinds of games. I have my little sort of RPG single player story-based games that I like, and that's really it. I don't really play anything else. So I'm not super experienced with gaming. So for me, it's kind of like, it's one of those like middling, like it's sort of hard, but not super hard. But yeah, it's just, it begins slowly. And then when you open up a third, there's like 3 areas of the map that kind of open up in the first half of the game. There's another half of the map that opens up later. But you get the first 2 pretty early on. And then when you open up the third part of the map, about a third of the way in, that's when the story really kicks in. So it's not really until you get there, and you've already done a fuck ton of missions and story and learning the world and learning the mechanics of the game. You've already done all of that for hours. You probably played 10 or 20 hours. I mean, you can do it quicker, but I play kind of very slow and methodically. I'd probably done like 20 hours maybe until this part of the map opened up. But when it does,
that's hook, line, sinker. That's when it happens. It's
hook, line, and sinker. There's something about the way they layer in a lot of different characters that feel very realistic.
They humanize all the characters very well.
They have a lot of backstory detail that isn't like explained, like exposition. It's just kind of dropped in that feels very real world. Like, people don't walk around telling you their backstory all the time, but you pick things up. You kind of infer a lot. And this world, it gives you all of that texture. All of these characters have these unique points of view that play against each other. And suddenly, boom, the world feels real. It doesn't feel like you're playing a video game. It feels like you're living a story. And the story is so compelling. There's a lot of dealing with grief and tragedy and loss and heartache and very, very deep emotions from a lot of different angles. There's a lot of different facets of that the game explores. And for me, I think there are certain ones that definitely hooked my heart. And I think for everyone, there's something in it that will get you in the feels. This game will find a way to get you. You just got to get to that part in the game and let it hook you.
Just give it a chance.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a long answer.
No. And I think the biggest issue too, when it comes to this game, where it happened to me, is when I'm playing it, I can't help but compare it to Last of Us. And I know you guys have obviously both played that. All of us have played that game.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, this is a not as polished Last of Us.
But when it's not trying to be the Last of Us, though. That's the mistake you're making, is you're thinking that it's trying to be the Last of Us, and it's not.
No, it's really not. No. When you play throughout the game, you have Claire and I talked about this, but they switch up what the plot is about. You don't really know. It keeps you guessing. So no, it's definitely not. You think it is because the situation's kind of the same. You know?
It's similarities.
Post-apocalyptic world. Yeah, I kind of agree with Rob in that sense. I'm in the exact same spot that you're at, which is kind of funny. But so I haven't played much of the game either, but I'm not done with it quite yet. I think the story in itself, and based off of what I've heard from you, Claire, it is interesting. It is something that I kind of gravitate towards because I'm a Sony fanboy, I guess you can call me, and I love story. Like, you give me a game of story and I'm all in, right? So this, it's weird because I understand your point, Rob, with the whole polished part of it, because there's some parts in the game. I'm thinking more of the gameplay portion of it, right? Where there's parts where I was fighting the freakers, and I don't know, I would like stomp one or kill a bad guy, and it would like go through the world, the map or something. Like it's just like weird stuff like that, little glitches like that.
Yeah.
So for me, that kind of takes me out of the experience, right? This world that they're trying to portray, this like story that they want me to kind of dive into, that takes me out of the experience when things like that happen. I'm not saying I need like a perfect polished game, because that's never the case, right? Games are difficult to make, and there's always going to be glitches and stuff like that. But that kind of like, that's the disconnect for me in that aspect. But the story, I'm 100% like interested in. Like it seems like a game or a story that I would be interested in for sure.
I will just
that's
warn
something
you.
is what's stopping me, right? Is more the gameplay than the story. I think I wanted to know what the story's happening, because I actually am like, oh, this guy, Deke and his friend's in trouble. He wants to help his friend, but the gameplay is kind of holding me back in a way.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say, it's not the most polished game. I will say, don't use rest mode. It does make it really glitchy, and like the floor will disappear randomly, or you'll get like boxed in with walls. Like it doesn't play well with rest mode.
Okay. I got stuck in like in between like a tree and like a rock, and I couldn't get out.
Yeah, you probably were using rest mode.
Yeah, I did.
Which is a little annoying, and it's like the game's been out for 2 years. They really should have fixed some of the shit. But it is what it is. I don't think it was ever trying to be the best game ever made. But in my opinion, it is one of the best games ever made. And we have a lot of people come in, like literally daily, people drop into the subreddit and they're like, oh my God, you guys, this is the best game ever made. And I mean, Daniel, you know, it hooks you. You become obsessed with it. And like I said, it's different for everyone with like why you get hooked by it. But I think it's because it does provide so much in the character, in the story, in the world, and just all of the detail that's there. But yeah, the gameplay it leaves a little to be desired. I will give you that.
Yeah, I think
you go into it. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick, like you said, Claire. There's gonna probably be a certain point in the game where, and it's happened to me numerous times, where I play a game and then it clicks. You're like, oh shit, like, oh, I'm in. Like this is it. You know. So I think we just have to get to that point, and then kind of we will probably oversee some of the glitches and all that stuff that kind of like set us back a little bit.
For sure.
Right now, it's very kind of Grand Theft Auto-esque, but the story will then be compelling like The Last of Us. So it's kind of like those two games, you know, kind of combined. Yeah.
So we'll definitely have to revisit our opinion on the game once we get.
So you guys will have to come on my podcast once you finished it, and we can talk about it.
You should do that. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
And that's how I got another guest.
There you go. Yeah, I think it's a great game so far. Like where we're at right now, it's definitely interesting. I'm interested in the story, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's things that I'm like, okay, I like I like the aspect that they have with the motorcycle. I feel like it's like an extension of yourself, or like another character, if you want to say that, right? Where you have to, you know, put gas and you have to like fix it up. Like,
have you given your bike a name yet?
No, not yet.
When you find yourself giving no, I just mean like in your head. Like
no.
I've named my bike. That's how close we are.
Gotcha.
I was listening to one of your podcasts, Claire, and there was one point that made me laugh where you're playing a game and a freaker like kicked over your bike or something. Oh,
that gets me so mad. I rant about that all the time.
Yeah. But I could definitely see that too. Like I'm just like parking my bike. It's all like nice and souped up, and you know, it's just like I leave it at this exact, you know, because in real life I'm like that with like my car. I like to keep my car like nice and clean.
Some
make sure
motherfucker comes up and touches it.
Just hits it. And I'm like, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna find you. Know.
Yes.
That was funny.
Yeah. So what's everyone's favorite video game? Obviously, we know mine is, or one of mine is Days Gone.
That's hard.
I already know my Metal Gear Solid series is by far my favorite.
That's a good choice right there.
Favorite.
That's a good choice.
If I had to choose in the series, I would probably say Metal Gear Solid 3, just because that's just a fantastic game. I love that game. I played that game probably 6-7 times, and I think I got all the trophies for it too, which is pretty hard to get.
Yeah.
See, my favorite one is the first one. I cannot believe they haven't released a remaster of the first one.
Maybe for the Game Awards, they might announce a remake. We're hoping,
because that would be amazing. That was a great game.
Yeah, I
Oh
love
my
the
God.
first one. The first and the second one I played, I think they got a little hard for me, and I didn't play them enough, and I kind of fell off of the franchise. But no, they're really good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
I was gonna
I was just gonna go on a tangent for Metal Gear Solid, but go ahead.
Oh no, I love Metal Gear Solid as well. It's one of my opinion the one of the greatest game franchises of all time. But Kelvin has like an obsessive love with it where I can never match. So I feel like I can't say it's my favorite game because it doesn't match his level of just like obsessiveness with it. The guy bought a limited edition European only special edition Metal Gear Solid PS4. They can only get in Europe. He bought that, so I was like, all right, yeah, that's your favorite game.
No
Can you
variants,
even
it's just
use
awesome.
it here? Because it's got to be the wrong power source, right?
No, you can. You
Oh, you
can
can?
use it.
Okay.
The only thing is,
You need a different
Mm.
TV.
No. Everything was fine. I could play it
okay.
just as normal. I think I couldn't play games. I don't know. It was weird. I think I had to like switch my user account. I have to like make a different account or something like that.
Yeah, you had to like change the
But-
settings into the account for something.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. I did that like years ago, so I don't remember.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But my favorite gaming franchise is Devil May Cry. I'm a huge Devil May Cry
Really?
fan.
Ooh.
Huge.
Yep.
We actually
Cool.
met the director Itsunu at Comic-Con. There was like a Devil May Cry 5 like party that they had, like an after party, and it was
Yeah.
at this bar, and they had like Devil May Cry themed drinks, and you can go over to him and say hi and take pictures with him and stuff. So we have a picture with the director of Devil May Cry.
Nice.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think my favorite franchise of all time is Tomb Raider.
That's a good
but
one.
I don't like the remakes. That is not
Really?
That is not Tomb Raider to me. That's
Oh
not.
my God, Daniel's freaking out right now.
You killed him. He's dead. He's dead.
dead.
You
He's
killed.
gone.
Look, he died.
Let me tell you who Lara Croft is and who she
Oh
is
my-
not. She is
Not
some-
somebody. Not
she's not
somebody in
this-
booty shorts and John Lennon sunglasses. No, man. Not. No.
I don't
So
know
you're-
why they
you're
had to
a-
reinvent her character and turn her into just some random chick who runs around for 3 fucking hours yelling Sam, 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 like trying to find her friend. Like, shut the fuck up, you're
But
Lara
that's the
Croft,
first one,
you're a
right? That's the first
badass.
remake. This is like
Yeah, I didn't play anything after that.
Okay.
The
Wow,
franchise
really?
is dead to me from that point. You do that to Lara, my girl Lara, you're dead to me.
Wow.
I can
Those
even
fighting
overlook.
words.
I can even
Blasphemy.
overlook the what was the one? Angel of Darkness or whatever they called it. That weird.
Oh, the PS2 one. The
Yeah, was
nah,
it
that
on
was
PS2?
bad.
Or was it PS?
I think, or was
I
it
don't
360?
remember.
It's gonna bother me now. I'll look it up.
No, it was definitely either PlayStation 1 or PlayStation. It must have been PlayStation 2. That one is the only one that I've never finished. I finished all the other. I played them millions of times. But yeah, that one I never finished just because it's so weird. I'm like, what is this game? But even then, I still come back to the franchise. You know, I loved that the do you call it a remake or whatever, a reboot, the one they did around like 2013.
13, yeah.
No, it was earlier than that. The
For the-
anniversary one, and that whole trilogy they did then. I love those games. And then they did the reboot retcon. I hate retconning shit. It
Oh,
It bothers
I thought it was.
Wow.
PS2, by the
Ooh,
way. Angel of Darkness
Wow.
was released on PS2.
Okay.
Claire.
Thank you.
I played the first one, the reboot one, the 2013 one, and I thought it was great. I loved it. I didn't play the second one after that, but I'm not a huge like Tomb Raider fan, but it definitely took a lot of cues from Uncharted for sure, right? Like,
That
Yeah,
was
man.
one
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
I didn't like about it is that it was too close to Uncharted for me. I just felt like I was playing the female antagonist version of Uncharted.
Which is
essentially.
funny because Uncharted stole a lot of things from Tomb Raider, and then
Right,
Tomb Raider stole
exactly.
them back
Yeah.
from Uncharted. And I think that's one of the
100%.
reasons why I didn't like it. Because I'm like, come on, you're better than. I mean, I love Uncharted. Uncharted is I don't know. It's fighting.
there.
It's up there. It's fighting. It's Days Gone, Uncharted, and Tomb Raider.
I have a
the
question
top
for you guys
3.
about that, about Uncharted. What do you think of Tom Holland being Nathan Drake for the Uncharted
God.
movie?
So moving on.
Next. She's Rob. You got to stop talking. She's gonna delete us from Instagram. Like, we gotta
She's
have that.
like,
you
why
know?
do we invite this guy? Get him out of here.
All I gotta say is, I mean, I've been wrong before. Okay, I've learned to keep an open mind. I remember the time the last time I judged a book by its cover like that, and I never did it again because I'm like, Hollywood or movie magic can really make a character come to life from a actor you didn't really expect. Was when they announced that Heath Ledger was going to be the Joker, and then after that, I never said like, this person can't do that, because after I was like, the guy from fucking 10 Things I Hate About You and Brokeback Mountain and all that's like the Joker. I'm like, whoa, Gotham's in trouble, man. But holy shit. But all I will say is, when I watched that trailer for Uncharted, I did not feel Uncharted.
The whole game, the whole movie doesn't feel. I say the whole movie. I haven't seen the whole movie. The whole trailer doesn't feel in the essence of Uncharted. It feels like they copied a bunch of scenes from all of the games. I'm like, there's shit from all of them in there. And the fourth one, I hate retconning. The fourth one is kind of, it pisses me off a little bit how they just threw a brother in there that never existed before. This is gonna be my next podcast after I'm done with Days Gone. I'll do Uncharted, and never talk about 4 because it annoys me. But the entire movie trailer just feels like a pastiche of things that, if you like Uncharted, you'll probably like this. And it's like, well, maybe, but I actually just wanted to see you guys do Uncharted, not do something that's like Uncharted or inspired by.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
I mean, it might be an entertaining movie. I mean, it might be an entertaining movie. I mean, when they did Tomb Raider with, what is it, Alicia Vikander or something like that, I thought it was incredibly cheesy. I thought the movie was, I mean, it's hard to not make a Tomb Raider game cheesy because of all the kind of supernatural-ish elements to it. But I still watch the movie every once in a while because I thought it was fun. And Alicia looked great as Lara Croft. I mean, she looked like the Lara Croft from the reboots that Claire doesn't like. But I mean, the bow and arrow action, the climbing axe, all that was really good. And I found it to be fun. So hopefully at least this movie's fun, but I'm not going to be like, I'm in an Uncharted mood today. I'm going to watch Uncharted. No, I'm going to play Uncharted.
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
So question for everyone, favorite Uncharted game?
2.
Oh, hang on. I almost showed it on camera here, but let me make sure.
Really?
4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I've never played 4. I didn't play 4, so I can't say.
3 and 4 are because I love the way 3 opens up. But
3
I liked,
is my favorite.
I think 4 was fantastic because it wasn't necessarily a retconning, they were going to tie up Nathan Drake's story, and I thought they did it in a great way. It was a feel-good ending. Everybody kind of got what they wanted. Nobody died. Like they always have to kill.
Spoilers.
Like and every time I think about that, I'm like, fuck, The Last of Us 2. I get so angry. So if that has to be the disappointing character kill off franchise, at least Uncharted, you kind of know that everybody gets out alive, everybody gets out in good shape, and everybody was happy. So I really love the way it ended. And they didn't kill off Sully. Dude, if they kill off Sully ever, I'm going
never.
With his hand cannon, his signature gigantic fucking revolver he carried that goes all the way down to his knees, basically. It's like a RoboCop.
How can you walk with that strapped to you?
One of the best still images is they actually included as a photograph that Nathan Drake's daughter finds. Remember at the very end when she's looking, she finds her dad's stash and shit. Is all 3 of them? I think it was from the first Uncharted game. You get fucking Nathan just has a shotgun,
like across his shoulders.
Yeah. Sully's he's got the gigantic cigar with his fucking hand cannon on it. Yeah, that's just awesome. And I thought that game story, Nathan Drake's story, ended perfectly. And they shouldn't fuck with it. Now if they're going to continue on, they should make it Cassie Drake, which is his daughter.
Yeah.
But don't kill anybody off. Just make it still the feel-good franchise.
Yes.
Right. For sure.
Yeah,
I think that's where they're going with it too. Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah, because killing off Joel, man, that hit me right in the feels, and I didn't like that at all.
Oh my god, I hate it. I hate it so much. I was mad during the entire game. I played it angry. I was angry at no. I was like, why? That's
Not only are you
so
angry,
mean.
but you're also playing as the character that made you angry.
Yep, and that's what they wanted to do, and,
Yeah.
and I think it's weird, right? Because they have a certain vision for this game. They know what they're doing. They
Mhm.
you know
100%.
they're not dumb. They know exactly what they want you to feel, and this is probably it, right? They want you to feel that anger and that like remorse and stuff. Like you don't want to play as this character, right? But they force you to play as this character, and whether you like her or not, this is what it is. And you at the end you kind of understand her story or you don't understand her story. You kind of understand what her motives were or you don't, you know. So it's
Yeah.
hard because that's exactly what they wanted to do in the story.
I feel like
Yeah.
I agree with you completely. My only issue with the game was I understood what they wanted me to feel at the beginning. It's like, okay, so you're gonna, well, not right at the beginning, but like Joel gets killed, you know, you're gonna play as Abby. I'm like, okay, so I get it. So this is where I learn that everyone has their story and no one's the villain of their own story, and we're gonna get to sympathize with Abby and see why she killed Joel, just like, you know, we sympathize with Joel and why he killed Abby's dad and blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, yeah, I get that. And then I had to play it for 10 fucking hours. And, you know, from that point, I'm like, I already got it. I already got the
Right.
memo.
Yeah,
Stop
like-
trying to drive it home. Yes, I know
Right.
Abby has her reasons. I know. Just let me play as Ellie again because I like
it was
her
all
style.
about cause and effect, consequences.
100%.
And
Eye
that's
for an
the
eye
lesson.
makes the whole world blind.
Mhm.
Exactly. And that's the lesson that they showed us. I mean, even to the point where they didn't even give Ellie a happy ending, man.
Wow.
So that was
Wow.
hard. So I guess it comes to me. I don't have a favorite game, but I believe that Naughty Dog, it's my favorite developer because I think they are master storytellers.
Yes.
And the writing is second to none.
Never should have got rid of Amy Hennig, who wrote Uncharted 1, 2, and 3. They should have kept her around.
You're right. Yeah.
She's working on a Marvel game now.
Mm-hmm.
Is she
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. So I mean, we don't. That's all we know as far as that goes. But
Yeah, that's the real reason why
Yeah.
I'm salty about Uncharted 4, because they got rid of her,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
she understood the characters and
Mhm.
what made them cool, and then yeah, you get rid of her.
And like
end
you
up with
said,
Uncharted 4.
bringing Drake's brother into this was so out of left field. Like it just
Yeah.
felt wrong to do.
Yeah.
Like it made sense for them, but I'm like, did we need that? Like, what's the purpose of that?
I liked it because, you know, Nathan, he kind of retired. So he needed a reason to
But he's never
get
mentioned his brother ever in any of the games before. You know?
Right.
Right, he didn't have
Because-
one. That's why. Until
Exactly.
they retconned
Yeah.
it and like, oh, maybe we should just give him a brother.
Yeah.
Right. And you can kind of see that. You can kind of see
It's
past
clunky.
that.
It's clunky,
Yeah.
and they should have known better, and they should have done better.
So you know why I like 4 so much, and I'll be honest, because 4 was actually the first Uncharted game I ever played.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yep.
That makes
And then I
sense.
went back. And
So you
I
went
played-
backwards?
Wow.
Yeah. So they had, by the time I had gotten done. So, and when I played Uncharted 4, I went over to my father-in-law. He and I game pretty much every Friday. It's just what we
Nice.
call game night, right? So my wife goes out one day, I have game night with my father-in-law, and he got me into Uncharted when 4 came out, and I could not stop playing it because I thought the character was good. I thought the writing was really good. I mean, it is Naughty Dog, right? So I didn't really have an impression prior to it. So when I was done with that, it's like I wanted more, and I was glad that there were 4 games. And I was like, "There's 3 other ones." And by that time, they had the Nathan Drake collection, so I was able to make one purchase, and then play through all the first 3 games, and I still do. I think they're some of the best games written. Naughty Dog all the way, man.
I've played them
I think
multiple
that's-
times and beat them all on like the crushing level difficulty, and there's so much replay value in those games.
I think I love that you guys constantly play the same games over and over. I can't do that. For some reason, I'm just one of those where I play the game, I completed it,
Done.
I fulfilled, I'm good. I'm like, all right,
Yep.
I don't see this game for another 10 years besides Metal Gear Solid, you know.
Yeah, end of my craft for me. I can replay that game 100 times over and not get bored of it. But I also, you guys have a different approach than I take. I think I'm kind of like the only one here, but I like to kind of like experience as many games as possible and kind of like breeze through them. Where I think you guys are a little more of the opposite, where you like to take your time with the game and really like going through all the nooks and crannies,
Get immersed in the
and get
That's
immersed in
us.
it.
Yeah. I think that's what we all feel, right? Yeah, because I'm more of like I take my time with a game. I play that. I look at every single like hidden nook and cranny. I'm like, oh, is there a little piece
Never
that I
be
can
a
get here?
streamer.
Is there a chest?
Never be a streamer.
I can't. But yeah, that's me. I take my time.
But
I like choice based games because it gives me a reason to play back through it to just make the different choices to see how they affect the gameplay the next time through.
So you like?
See,
when,
I hate
when
games like Heavy Rain.
I'm actually in the middle of Heavy Rain
Really?
right now. I have not played because I never had a PS3.
Okay.
So I went from first PlayStation, PS2, and I went straight to 360. And I skipped over 3, and then I bought PS4 specifically to play Uncharted 4 again after playing it at my father-in-law's house. So that was the first time I had a PlayStation since the PS2 was released. So they had released Heavy Rain now on PC, so I got it. I'm actually going through it, and I don't mind it. I like it because I played Beyond Two Souls, and it's kind of the same. I think it's the same company, right?
Same.
Whatever that
Dreams.
company is. Yeah.
So no, I'm I don't know. I don't even know how far I am through it. It's a big game, isn't it?
It's I can't really. I'd say maybe 12, 14 hours or so. I'm not sure.
Really?
I'm just guessing. I don't know. But
It's strange.
I blew past that game pretty fast.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, it was all right. It was fine. It was like one of my first PS3 games, I think. And it had its choices. Like it was weird with like some of the character models, and it just looked. I mean, again, this is a very old game. It's not like it's it has it's run its course. I feel like at this point, but it was good. I thought it was fine. I didn't play the other game that you said. What was it?
Beyond Two Souls.
Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah.
I have not played that game.
Yeah, with Page and Defoe.
Yeah,
Defoe's in it. William Defoe's in that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I might have to play it now. I love William Defoe.
Heavy Rain is like playing a Tarantino movie because you hop back and forth between all these different people and the events that are happening and how they're somehow connected. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, and
I love like those wacky games like that. It's so fun because I've played. Have you guys played Gone Home?
No, I haven't because I picked it up for like $3. That's pretty much what my entire Steam library is a bunch of games I buy for like $4 and I won't play it for like 2 years.
Yeah, that's not. I wouldn't even call it a game. It's kind of like you're kind of pointing and clicking and stuff like that. But it's about the story. So if you have like 5-6 hours, that's all it takes to beat that game. I highly recommend playing Gone Home. There's another game just like that, same developer. It's called What Remains of Edith Finch. And
love that.
You've played that one?
Game. Yep.
Yeah, it's very similar to that game, Gone Home.
That was really, really good.
Yeah, but I wish more games were like that. Like a quick little like, I want to beat this in 8 hours and experience the story because I really enjoy books, but I don't necessarily have the time to like deep dive into a book.
Give Draugen a shot. That's one of the games I've covered. I played it in 4 or 5 hours.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I'll check it out.
That's really good. So, all right. We got some more questions here, everyone. So let's see. We kind of answered a whole bunch of them already just by talking. So
right.
Process schedule. Who is? Okay. Here we go.
Oh.
Who is or who are your podcast or YouTube influences? Influencers.
Who are we?
Would you say for us, Kelvin, it's kind of funny games?
Yes, 100%.
Kind of funny games.
Yeah, if you haven't heard of them, we kind of build our podcast based off of what they do, right? They talk about their gaming news, right? And they do it in a much more professional way than we do. But I listen to them every day, and they started off. I think the main guy started off at IGN at one point, and then he kind of left and did his own thing. So yeah, and then he just kind of started building his own community and started building his own people, like just the same people that he worked with IGN, they all kind of came with him, and he just started growing from there.
It's awesome. Claire?
I don't think I have necessarily a specific podcast or anything that is like what I do. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of podcasts that are like what I do, but not one that I listen to. But something that kind of inspires me is the Script Notes podcast. It's a podcast for the film industry and about screenwriting and screenwriters. And it's run I've listened since the first episode 10 years ago. So it's on like 500 and God knows how many episodes.
Jeez.
And they do it every week. And it's just two guys, and they're just really fun, nice people who are sort of supportive of the industry and of people who are trying to become screenwriters and people who already are screenwriters. And I mean, it has nothing to do with gaming, but I just really like the dynamic, and I like that they can fill 500 episodes with just being themselves and just talking about things that interest them and that sort of pertain to the industry in general. So I find that kind of inspiring, just to kind of not take myself too seriously, and to, as a reminder, to kind of have a little personality.
Rob, I totally skipped over you, man. Sorry. I see you and Kelvin as like one entity because you're both side by side. It's almost like you're sitting in the same room. So sorry, Rob, go ahead.
I was going to, I said kind of funny games, and Kelvin kind of elaborated on it, but yeah, that's kind of like what got us really the push into podcasting was, well, these guys can do it, we can do it too.
Especially our format too. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they always have a guest, have a I mean, granted they have multiple guests, rotating, but we were like, we can do that. That's not necessarily we want to copy them, but I like the way they present their information and what they provide to the community. So let's do that and put our own spin on it. So I think that's mostly the podcast I think I listen to the most. Is kind of funny for sure.
You have to shamelessly just steal a little bit, because what you're stealing is what you enjoy and why you listen to a particular podcast. So you can take an idea and just give it, like you say, like your own spin on it. So, because I mean, with so many podcasts, it is really hard to come up with something that nobody else has done yet. Right. I mean, shit, it's hard to come up with a name that nobody else has taken. Golly, man. So and then when you do come up with like a domain name, you better snatch that shit right away, because it may be gone in the next 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Daniel, question back at you. What's a podcast that has influenced you?
I don't listen to it so much anymore. So I'm very sorry, Kevin, if you're listening to this. It's nothing personal. Kevin Smith got me into it. Because the buddy of mine that I had when I first started the other two podcasts, we were big Kevin Smith fans, and he started his podcast. God, I think it's like around 2008, maybe that's when I started listening to it. Maybe it's older than that, but it was called Smodcast, and it was literally just him and his friends just chit chatting. His buddies that were in his movies, just chit chatting and just recording and releasing it, and we liked listening to it. So that's why we kind of wanted to do that format where we're just having a conversation, and we just so happen to hit the record button, and then when we're done, upload it to the internet. But so that's what kind of got me into it. I've seen other people grow along the way. I mean, look at Linus Tech Tips. I remember when he was
Oh my goodness.
God, he was on somebody else's kind
Wait, who is that? Who is that?
He does Linus something.
And I can't remember Linus. I'll look it up real quick, but
he does a lot of good tech videos and reviews and kind of how-tos. It all has to do with technology, computers, gaming, or whatever. But
Sebastian.
I think he first Linus Sebastian. That's right. I think he first started doing.
Was it
X-Play? Tech Quickie, or something like that.
Was he on Attack of the Show on G4 at one point? Was he like? I know he was on that?
I know he was on either somebody else's show or maybe somebody else's studio or whatever, and then he kind of branched off on his own. At least that's the impression I got. I don't know if that's true, but he would say like some aspect of technology, like today he would be ray tracing. What is ray tracing in under 2 minutes? And he would explain it, that kind of deal. So if you had a question, he would be the guy that would explain it to you. And then it branched off. He got much bigger, and it's holy shit. Now he has a bunch of employees, and he's got his own.
Studio.
Yeah.
Good for him.
He's
Yeah.
great. He's like
Nice.
the
I mean-
guy. Like seriously, if you want to watch anything tech related, he's the guy.
He is the guy, and also for that subject matter, but also the guy as an example of a YouTuber who got super big, and he did it all on his own,
Mhm.
and it was crazy. See, Joe Rogan, he's everybody's kind of like, wow, how do you do that?
How
But
to do that, right?
there's a guy named Pat Flynn. I found him, he's on YouTube, and he does a podcast. It's called Smart Passive Income, which I have no idea what that even is, because I only watch his podcasting how-to videos. He does wonderful. So whatever Smart Passive Income minimum, really, I mean, to me, that sounds like a financial thing.
Mhm.
So I don't really listen to it, but he also loves podcasting, and he has done a lot of videos on how to podcast, everything from hosting. That's why I got on Buzzsprout, because Buzzsprout is easy. He showed you how to do it, microphones, editing, how to promote. Should you do a YouTube channel? Should you do a podcast? Should you do both? What are the benefits, pros and cons of each one? So a lot of the decisions I've made and a lot of the influences that has really, put this whole thing together for me was based on what Pat Flynn said in his episodes. So that's
Check 'em
somebody
out.
that's somebody I keep going back to on how to any podcast related question.
Nice. Interesting.
I have a question for you guys. With podcasting, I feel like there's been a huge boom in people wanting to do a podcast, especially because of the pandemic. Obviously, we're all home. It's like a hobby thing. Do you kind of see a lot of podcasts falling off in the next couple of years, or that medium becoming smaller, or even becoming bigger? Do you think people are going to just get tired of it and drop off? What do you predict is going to happen with podcasting?
I think it could go either way. I think it's going to do both. I think a lot of individual people who have started podcasts during the pandemic, like life is going to return to what it once was at some point, and people get busy. And with any hobby, people get busy and they stop. They stop doing the things that take up that extra little bit of time that maybe they don't have anymore because they're back in the office and they're having to commute now and all that kind of stuff. So I think a lot of the small hobbyist podcasts are going to go away. But at the same time, podcasting has been around for a long time now, and it, as a medium, has not gone away. And in fact, if anything, it's grown quite considerably. So I think there's always going to be room for people to come into that, because there is always an easy entry level way of getting into podcasting. You buy a microphone, you speak, you record yourself, you stick it on the internet. Like there's always a free or relatively cheap way of doing it, and people always want to share their opinions. So I don't think it's going to go away as a medium. I think it may change, just like doing YouTube videos has changed,
Right.
and the concept of being like a famous YouTuber is like an attainable thing now, even though for most of us it's never going to come to fruition. But it doesn't stop people from trying. So I think it's here to stay.
I think a lot will drop off once the world starts getting back to normal, because they won't be at home as much anymore, because it does take a lot of time. And once they have to start going back into the office, yeah, I think it's going to be like the spring cleaning. You kind of get rid of the treadmill that you got.
Right. You're like, all right.
For last year's New Year's resolution.
Right.
But I agree with Claire. I don't think as a medium it's going to die out at all. I just think that it's going to I don't think it's going to get, as far as podcasters, I don't know, man. I think it's this kind of, they'll start killing themselves off. Maybe they're not interested anymore, or they don't realize how hard it is and what all,
it's a
is
commitment.
involved with
That's
it.
the biggest thing.
Huge
It's a
commitment.
huge commitment. I mean, every single week you're doing it, and like you said, you guys have your lives, and at some point you're like, I'm tired. I don't want to. I can't want to.
How many hours?
No, I can't.
How many hours do you guys think you put in per week doing your podcast?
A minimum 6 for me minimum, because it takes me sometimes 3 hours on the day where I'm recording and editing and things like that. And then throughout the week, I'm doing a bunch of writing.
Believe that it only that you record and edit in the same night. I spend hours editing. I'll spend like 2-3 hours editing, at least 2-3 hours like writing the episode, and then an hour recording the episode, and then I listen back to the episode before I upload it, and then there's all the uploading stuff, the thumbnails and all of that you're talking about. I probably put in about 10 hours a week.
See, wow. I think you're thinking like, wow, I can't believe it's only 6 hours. To me, for an episode that my episodes are usually maybe from 20 to 30 minutes, I'm like, fuck, 6 hours for just 30 minutes.
For a half-hour content.
I record and edit on the same night, because what I'll do is, as I said, I record in sections. So as I get done, I'll listen back on that section. I like it, cool. I'll join it back with the previous section I recorded.
So you're deleting everything that you didn't want out the take. Okay.
Exactly. So I kind of know what to expect. And I'll kill the little dead space in between, snip it a bit. And so I'm kind of editing and making changes as I go, rather than have to listen through it all the way and then do it that way. Because I have to streamline everything because I am busy. And I mean, Thursday nights, I still got to get up Friday to go to work. And sometimes I won't get done till 2 a.m.
Damn.
Yeah. I think we're on the same boat with 6 hours or so, because we do our document on Wednesday, and then Thursday we're recording, then editing. And by the time we're done, like we start recording at 5:30, sometimes 6 o'clock. Right. And
take a break for like 2 hours and then go back on it that same night. And,
I go to bed sometimes like 12, 1 o'clock. Sometimes I've gone to bed like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I have to go to work the next day. And even when I wake up in the morning, I still have like a window of like 20 minutes or so before I drive to work. So I go downstairs and like finish editing something that I need to do just to like make sure I get everything out on time.
Yeah. And not all of us have jobs. None of us are doing this for a living.
Right.
Yeah.
that would be
for sure.
That would be. I can't imagine doing my niche little podcast and making enough money from it to actually not have to do anything else. Like that would be crazy.
Well, it was for my job. I work from home, but they were like, you can't be doing something that's not work related on your work laptop. So I'm like, dang it. So.
Yeah, so get a different laptop, set it up right next to you.
Right next to each other. It's just like, I'm not doing on this laptop.
It's hard. Like you, Daniel and Claire, you guys are parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely puts a strain on you, especially when you're trying to record, edit, and then try to release it at a certain point. You have lives, you have jobs, you have other things, other priorities. So it kind of doesn't get in the way, but it kind of hinders your thought process, or it hinders like your productivity that you're trying to focus on the podcast, and you can't sometimes because you have other priorities, right?
I'm like a master at taking on too much. That's one of my
promise
skills.
myself. Yeah, I promise myself I'm not going to put anything home or family related. I'm not going to put the podcast before any of that. So I always make sure I got all my ducks in a row. Everything's taken care of. My son's fed, in bed, and everything, and then I'll come down and do what I consider something fun. So because of that, right. A lot of things can get in the way because this is not a priority for me because I am married with a kid. But
and then you got to have time with your family, right? Like your kid's in bed, but you also have to have time with your wife or your husband, and that's a hard balance to do, right? Because there's times I'm not gonna lie, there's times where I do want to record, or I do want to add something to the podcast, or I want to do something on YouTube related, right? And I can't because I have to spend time with my wife. I have to watch a movie, and just enjoy the time that we have because the baby's sleeping. So it's a lot to juggle for sure.
Yeah. And I feel bad too sometimes because I don't know if we've all done this, but I'll be out to dinner with my girlfriend and we put a post out or something on Instagram or something, and we're getting likes and people are messaging, and I'm looking at it and I'm looking like, oh my God, like I got to respond to this, or YouTube comments, or I'm replying to YouTube comments, but I can't do it. And then they're getting mad at me. I'm like, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. No, this is your time, not this time. But it's hard because the temptation's always there, and
Always.
it almost sucks you in, and you start neglecting other aspects. And I think there needs to be a fine line that you set. They're like, all right, once I cross this line, hard stop, done.
Yeah. And I think so if you're starting off YouTube, or I'm sorry, if you're starting off podcasting, right? If you want to start your own podcast, you might want to have a talk with your spouse or whoever and just say, hey, these are the days that I want to dedicate my time with doing podcasting. So maybe like we do Wednesdays and Thursdays. Those are my dedicated times right after the baby goes to bed, right? So like 8:30, 9 o'clock or something like that. We dedicate our time to the podcast. And that's something that you have to talk to your spouse or whoever you're with that can
right, Daniel?
compensate for that.
Right, Daniel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
But I'm on the same boat with you, Daniel. Like literally your schedule is exactly like mine. I have a 8 to 5 job. I work Monday through Friday. I have a baby, and we put them to bed around the same time. So by 8:30, 9 o'clock, that's our time to either hang out with the wifey or go downstairs and, do something podcast related, or just nothing podcast related at all. Just play games. Like that's another thing that we had or at least I had a difficult time where we were so focused on the podcast that I forgot, hey, we did this because we like playing video games, and I'm doing more talking about video games and not playing video games.
I've fallen into that trap too. I sometimes
100%.
will go in like a few days and I'm like, oh, I haven't played Days Gone. And I start to feel
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
cold
That's why I
inside.
started
I'm like,
this.
oh, Deacon, I'm sorry. I'll come back.
So sometimes you just have to take a step back a little bit and just forget everything. Reflect on what you're doing. Put the podcast aside sometimes and just enjoy the time that you have with your buddies or just playing a game by yourself.
Okay, so there you have it, part 2 of 3. We hope you're enjoying this collaboration episode so far. We certainly had a real fun time recording it. It was almost a 3-hour conversation, which is why we're posting them in 3 separate parts like this. So part 3, the last one, will be posted next Sunday. So a week from today, that would be December 26th. And whether you're following one of us or all of us, you'll still be getting the same content because we are posting it to all of our shows. We hope you're having a good time with the conversation so far. And again, you can follow Claire at the Days Gone podcast and Rob and Kelvin at Project Tech Gaming. But until next Sunday, stay safe, have fun, be good to each other, and I will talk to everyone next time.